everyone, welcome back to CCUK Resin, and hopefully this is going to be a quick one, although there's an almighty thunderstorm outside at the minute. Hopefully we'll be able to continue with this, but one of the channel members, Diane, said that she's struggling with Crackle Effects. So I've not played with Crackle Effect for a little while, or Dragon Scale Effect, whatever you want to call it. So I've got some new chameleon powders from Temu, just some cheap ones, and I wanted to test them out. So I've got 10 different ones, so I wanted to put all 10 into these Crackle coasters. So first thing I'm going to do is just get these colours mixed up. Look at this is a bit snazzy with these lids. I don't even need to use my scoop. So let's put some in there. And I do want it quite heavy because I think that's what makes the difference. It's the difference between a heavier mica pigment and the less heavy sort of alcohol ink component. So that's all I'm putting in each one of these. And these lids are a little bit snazzy for me. But we're going to carry on, and we're going to get all 10 of these mixed, hopefully. And then we're going to create a bit of a crackle effect, if it all works. And these are all slightly different colours, all in a chameleon effect, so hopefully they're going to make some pretty coasters. Now, the only thing I can see as a difference, because I've been asked by a few people as well, what's the difference between Crackle and Dragon Scale? I think Dragon Scale is when you get that ring between them, personally, rather than just the one fluid crackle going all the way through. But I could be wrong. If anybody else out there thinks there's a different answer to that, by all means let me know. But I haven't tried this with pigment paste yet. I normally just do it with micas or chameleon powders, and so far I've not had any issues. But you watch, this will be the first time that I do have issues. As I'm trying to help Diane and explain how to do it. So again, not too much going in these, just a good sprinkle, I suppose. And again, you don't have to use all 10 colours out of one pack at once, guys. But if you watch the channel, you know it's just the way that I tend to work. And then I'm going to use something else instead of a traditional alcohol ink as well for my lighter colour. And we're going to see if that works. But this is just meant because Diane said she's really struggling with it, and I wanted to show her how I do it and see if I can remember how to do it, because it has been a while since I've done this Crackle Effect or Dragon Scale Effect, whatever you want to call it. And the idea here is to hopefully get a couple of these colours in each and see what it creates, you know. And it's just a fun make, and I love the Dragon Scale or the Crackle Effect, whatever you want to call it anyway. So whatever these turn out like, I'm sure they're going to be absolutely amazing. So here we go, but these are really snazzy, these little lids. You don't normally get these on Temu products. It's normally a lot worse than that. So we've got 3 more to go, so sorry if you don't like to see me mixing colours, but it's what I've got to do. So there we go, it's another one. You do need to mix them up, and I'm just using the Apex Resin normal high gloss for this. I'm not using a fast cure. I didn't see the point in using a fast cure, and actually I think the Crackle or the Dragon Scale Effect works better with a slightly lower viscosity resin, and that's another reason I wanted to go with the high gloss. And if you want any of these resins from Apex, go to the website apexresin.co.uk and use my discount code CCUK to get yourself some money off. Simple as. Who doesn't like money off resin? Come on. And I want these to be reasonably even in the amount of mica in them. If it's not perfect, it shouldn't matter, but I do want to make sure that they've all got the same sort of thickness. There we go, that's all of those colours. Now I'm just going to mix them up. But before I do that, I'm going to mix up my main colour. And what I'm going to use here is I've got some bloom drops, which I love this golden ember. It's like a fire colour. And all I'm going to do is put 1 full pipette of that in there And you're not supposed to use this in resin according to Lou. It's not meant to colour your resin at all. But you tell me that this isn't colouring that resin. Only ever so slightly. But that's all I want for this. Look at that. Beautiful. It's got a pinky orangey colour. And hopefully that will set off these beautiful chameleon colours nicely. Look at that. Beautiful. So all I'm going to do first, get rid of that, is put a tiny bit in each of these coasters. Just enough to cover the surface. That's all I want. Let it spread, let it do its thing. And it does help if you've got a level surface, guys. Whenever you do anything like this, otherwise you'll find that it doesn't pull into a centre. It goes slightly off, and I haven't leveled this table out, and I've done quite a few projects on it. So that's that. And you do want to make sure you've still got some left to do that final push. So I want to get about half of this in. And then I'm just going to let it do its thing. Make sure that, as I say, each one of those has enough in to completely cover that base layer. And then I've still got enough here, hopefully, to do a bit of a push. If not, guess what? I'll mix some more up. But pretty happy that that is now covering the surface. So I'm just going to slosh them around a little bit, hopefully still keeping it in the mould. But I just want to make sure that, as I say, it's going all the way around and we've got that thin layer just covering it. A bit like that. Beautiful. And it only has to be a thin layer. But it always works a lot better if you do that. And again, I've got my giant one at the side just to see what it turns out like. Right, now let's get to mixing these colours up. And again, this was just because Diane said she was struggling. So I said, you know what? I'll stick the camera on. I'll do a quick video for you on how I do it. And we'll see if that helps. So there we go. First colour, mixed. Beautiful. Second colour. Yeah, making sure it's thoroughly mixed around. And again, that's beautiful. It's almost like a galaxy colour. That. Loving that. Third colour. Again, that's like a light green. Beautiful colour. And as you can see, I may intermix these a little bit. I'm not really bothered because they're all going to intermix in this crackle anyway. Now I am going to try these as a crackle rather than a dragon scale, so I'm not going to do the other thin layer in between because I quite like the full crackle effect where it goes all the way from one end of your project to the other. I just thought it'd be a fun way to test out these new chameleon powders as well. I think they're only about £8 off Temu, so they weren't expensive. And I hope you're all having a good day, whatever you're doing, you know. And this was just because on one of my giveaways, Diane said that she was struggling. So I said, you know what, Diane, I'll do you a quick video tonight. And that's what this channel's all about, sharing the knowledge. Hopefully that way we all grow together. And we all keep learning. Now, shall we try and get all of these colours in each one? Should we go ultra crazy and see what happens? I think we should. Just to see what effect that has. So I want to try and get the darkest colour first, which actually I think is this one in my hand. And all I'm going to do, pour a bit of this straight into the centre. Like that. Again, if I'm using all of these, I'm going to try and do it sparingly. Like this. And don't forget, every time you do this, it is filling up that coaster just a little bit more. It's not quite even, so I'm going to put a bit more of this in there. And then a bit in the one on the end. There we go, first colour in. Next colour, let's go for this one. Again, straight in the centre if I can. Beautiful. And again, it's just pushing it out a little bit at this point. And this is a lot of chameleon going in these, so hopefully we get a stunning effect. Nothing's ever guaranteed in resin, as we all know. And you have got to try and remember to leave a bit of space for you to do a push at the end. So I'm just being a bit more careful now. And let me know, what do you think we're going to get? Are they all going to just blend together? Are we going to see any of these different colours? I don't know. So there's that one. Let's go with this one next. Who would have thought I'd be putting all of them in? It's not like me, is it, to try every one in one piece? Those of you that follow the channel regularly know it's exactly like me. Here we go. Which one next? Let's go for the other blue. And I hope these work. They're looking beautiful already. Just these different chameleons mixing together. Always reminds me of that Boy George song though when I'm doing chameleon. Come a camellia. And I think I finally lost it, guys. I think putting 10 different chameleons into one Crackle coaster has finally sent me a little bit over the edge. I'm loving these colours though. So there are only cheap ones from Temu. Beautiful. Right, which ones haven't I used? I think it's these 4. Yeah, and let's get that one in. And some of them are quite similar to each other, but I can still see a difference. I'm just going to create a rainbow chameleon effect. It'd be really cool if it keeps that when it crackles. Let me know what you think is going to happen. It's either going to work or it's not. Simple as that. And it's only resin if it doesn't. Okay, now we've got 3 more to go. And then the push. 1. And I'm loving the way that these are already mixing together. Creating a beautiful little rings of colour. Amazing if I keep those. Don't think I will though once I push them out. But you don't know until you try these things. So we've got 2 more left. Let's go with this one first. Again, I keep trying to do it straight in the centre so it pushes it out a little bit from a height if I can. Trying to eyeball it and keep it reasonably equal. And then I think this is the last one before we go in with that push. And I think we're going to have a stunning result here. I don't know why. Just feels like it's working at this point. There we go. And we've definitely got enough colours in there. Now I think that's certainly enough for these, but my deeper one at the side, I'm just going to go in again and make sure that it's completely filled almost, well, 3/4 of the way. Because I've mixed up these chameleons, I might as well use them, you know? No point wasting them once you've mixed them. And then I'm still going to do a push with this one as well. It's just because I don't need these Let's Resin ones to be quite so full. Because the mould's quite deep and I don't actually like the coasters that deep. And now we're going to go back in with the clear and do a bit of a push and see what happens. So I've not got a lot of this, so I've got to be careful. So I'm going to do it from a height. And just try and push it all the way out. Like that. And let it pull itself back in. Same with this one. All the way out. And let it pull itself back in. Hopefully these are going to completely close as well. And I'm hoping I've got enough to do a final push on this one on the outside. Not a massive push there, but we'll see how we get on. We're going to leave those now to cure. We're going to come back in 24 hours. Hopefully they'll completely close up, and hopefully we'll have a cool either crackle effect or dragon scale effect. With all of those different chameleons in there, we should get some kind of effect. And even if we don't, because we use chameleons, I tell you what, they're going to be really pretty. So this is for you, Diane. I hope you liked the video. I hope you've learned something, and I hope it helps. We're going to come back and demold these tomorrow. So we're back, guys, and I'm about to go to bed, but I wanted to back these. And I've never backed them before, but I just thought, you know what, chameleons really pop with black. So I want to do them black, and I want to see what happens. So I'm going to use this Le Res Midnight Black. Just going to stir it around, and whatever's left on my stick should be enough. So I've mixed up 240 ml, this time of the fast cure resin, so that hopefully tomorrow we should be able to demold these. I'm just going to mix it around, and hopefully that's going to give us a beautiful glossy black once it's all mixed around in the resin. And then I am going to add something to it, just because I like to add stuff to my black as well. So I've got some dirty stop out glitter from Create and Bloom, which I actually helped name. And I just thought that'd be cool. Not too much, but just a little bit in there. So hopefully if we do see it through, especially in the center bit, there we go. As you can see, it's a beautiful holographic sort of black glitter, this. And it should really hopefully add to the piece. So a lot of resin, a lot of glitter, hopefully going to give us a beautiful black, shiny, glittery back to these chameleon effect, crackle effect coasters. Well, hopefully they are anyway. We won't know until we demold if they've worked. And this was all because Diane wanted to get a few tips on the crackle effect. Hopefully I've done that for you, Diane. Hopefully you've learned something, and hopefully these are going to be gorgeous. So again, just mixing it all round, making sure it's pretty consistent. There we go. So we've got beautiful black glittery back here. And again, I'll just want to make sure it's all mixed around in that cup, bottom and top. And then we're just going to pour. And then hopefully tomorrow, about midday-ish, should be able to demold these, and we'll see what we've got. Always wipe off your sticks, and then you can use them again the following day. So here we go. And again, I'm not going to measure this. I'm just eyeballing it. I just want a thin amount in each one, just to cover it all the way to the edge. And hopefully this will just give us something else to make those chameleons pop, especially if we've got that crackle effect. And it is an if at this point. And I think they're relatively even. Just having a look and eyeballing it. They look pretty even, and then the rest can go in this big one at the side. And then we're going to see what we've got. It's either going to have worked or it's not. I'm hoping it has, and I'm hoping we've got a beautiful crackle, just with a bit of this beautiful black glittery background shining through to the front. Let me know what you think in comments, but we are going to demold these tomorrow and see what we've got. But either way, hopefully, Diane, you've learned a couple of tips and tricks on this video that's helped. So I'll see you guys at demold. So here we go, guys. It's the next day. It's probably been, I don't know, 12, 14 hours, but these feel cured to me. So we're going to demold. Hopefully, Diane, you've learned something in the tips and tricks, and hopefully other people have along the way. But let's get straight into it and let's see if these have worked. Wow. Look at that. You can just see that crackle underneath the chameleon. I backed these in black as well, and I'm glad I did. But yeah, I think they've come out really cool. You can just see the crackle around the edge going inside there. And I think because I've mixed so many colours, it's actually made it a little bit difficult to see, but it's definitely there. So there's that one. Beautiful effect. Each one of them slightly different. You can see that crackle. Look at that. There's almost a slit down the middle of that one. Beautiful. Just that chameleon crackle going around the whole coaster. And I might try this again, but do it with pigments and see if we get a different look. Don't know. Wow, look at that one. And you can see that crackle going around the edge. And it's almost into like a little eye there where it's got that slit. Love that. Maybe it's a little bit distracting because we use so many different chameleon colours. But do you know what, guys? I think they've turned out really cool. I'm liking these Crackle Effect coasters. All slightly different in the way that they've moved. And I think one of the chameleon colours is more powdery than the rest, but you can see the crackle in there. Let me know what you think. I quite like them. And we've got, I think, 6 very similar ones. And again, you can just see that crackle coming through. And all of those different chameleon colours are really, really coming through on these pieces. So I'm happy with the way that they've gone. Look at that. Wowzers. Beautiful coasters. So we've got a set of 6 there. Let's not forget the big one in my homemade crystal edge mold. And again, you can just see it there. Absolutely stunning. So I think it's been a success. Let me know what you think in comments, guys. And I'll see you all on the next video. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you're liking the content. But yeah, I think these came out beautiful. So thanks for the idea, Diane, and I hope you've learned something. Stunning pieces. So we're back, and just to finish off this video for the Crackle Effect, I wanted to see what would happen if I used a thicker resin like the Fast Cure from Apex. And I'm going to use some pretty crazy colours in this one, and pigment pastes, and mica. So, I don't know if it's going to work or not, but we're going to have a go. So, I'm just stirring this round, a couple of minutes, and it should be ready in a second. But what I'm going to do first is start thinking about the centre. And the centre for this one, I'm going to go with some of these blue rocks almost. And you'll notice I'm doing this at my on my coffee table. And there's a reason for that. It's my huge universe project that I'm doing at the minute is unfortunately taking up my workstation. But it's about 11 o'clock in the evening. I couldn't sleep. And if I'm being honest, I was watching another artist doing Crackle Effect as well on telly. And I thought, you know what? I'm inspired. I want to do something before I go to bed. So that hopefully in the morning, I've got something to demold. And I thought I would just finish off this Crackle video quite well. So this is that blueberry sparkle as well from Laura's Art Corner. So just got those 2 different rocks, and I think a scoop of this glitter should just perfect it. And this is one of my favorite glitters at the minute, this blueberry sparkle. Absolutely beautiful. So that's that. Now the main mica part, again, I'm going to be using a Blue Ocean chameleon pigment from Laura's Art Corner. I'm going to try and not get this absolutely everywhere. And I want this to be reasonably heavy, so I'm going to go in with, I think, 3 scoops. because I want this to be the heaviest in order for this to hopefully work. I don't know whether it will or won't. I've never tried this combination. I've never tried it with the fast cure thicker resin either. And I've just realized I need to get something to stir my pigments with. Give me 2 seconds. Right, so I've got a popsicle stick that I can break in half, and that will do. So that's going to be my mica color. And what could go wrong with using yellow, pink, and blue? Who knows? So again, just mixing that resin round as well. I do want it to be thoroughly mixed. And I've actually done this. This mold takes about 5 ounces. And I've mixed 6 just because I want to make sure I've got enough to do that push at the end. That's usually where I go a little bit wrong with Crackle. I don't think I give it enough to push it out and let it close back in. So I think we're going to be about there. So I'm just going to pour a tiny bit straight into the mold, close to the edge. Well, just filling it in because I want to have enough to just cover that base, hopefully, like so. Then I'm going to add a tiny drop into this mixture, which is what's going to create the center. I'm going to pour some, being careful not to get it on my coffee table here, into this beautiful mica, like so. About halfway, so that's going to be about 1 ounce of this mica. And I just wanted to see if it has a different effect, if any, if I do it this way. And again, I'm going to do these about half full for the 2 different colors. So we've got 1 ounce of each of these pigment pastes and 1 ounce of that mica, roughly. And then we should have enough to just push out at the end. Well, we'll definitely have enough for that. So what I might do, I've got 2 ounces left there. Just put a tiny bit back in as well, because I don't think I'll need a full 2 ounces here to push it out. And again, just being a little bit careful because I am doing this at my coffee table because I don't have my workstation. But if you're a resin artist, you will understand when you get the urge, you've just got to do it, guys. Because you don't know when you're next going to be able to pour. So let's mix up that honeycomb, which is a beautiful color from Creating Bloom, almost a bright yellow. And that's all I'm going to need. Whatever's left on my stick should be enough to color that resin beautifully. And I don't think I want them too opaque, because if they're too opaque, it might stop the crackle from working. And then this next one's this bright pink zinnia. And I just thought I wanted to see how these colors intermix together and if we'll get a crackle at all. There we go. So I'm just going to move these out the way. Then we're going to mix up the colors. Then we're just going to go for it. And then in the morning, because I'm using a fast cure, the beauty of using a fast cure is it takes 2.5 hours, this fast cure does, to fully cure up. So by the time I get up in the morning, I know it's going to be done and it's going to be ready to demold. So we can demold this just to hopefully finish off that video. So the first one I'm going to do is the chameleon. I'm just going to mix it round, making sure it's thoroughly mixed. Now, especially since I put the mica at the bottom, it does stop that cloud, but you need to make sure it's mixed. Look at that beautiful color. Absolutely stunning. I'm trying to get used to this camera angle as well, guys. So there we go. Look at that. Beautiful. And I think that will give us a gorgeous crackle if it works. Next is that beautiful yellow. And again, just mixing it up so it's nicely mixed. And look at that. Beautiful. And then the final one is that zinnia. Now let me know, do you think this is going to work? I've not used pigment paste in a Crackle before. I've always used more transparent colours, but I wanted to see what had happened. And I was inspired by Petty over at Petty's Home Art when I saw her do some in some square coasters. So I thought, what the hey, let's give it a go. I'm just going to scrape most of that off and then use the same stick just to mix up the bit for my centre, which is those rocks and that glitter. Look at that, beautiful. So now we're just going to go for it. And I think I'm going to go with the pink first, just around the edge. I'm going to try and keep it reasonably even if I can. There we go, pretty happy with that. Reasonably even. And then I'm going to go in with the yellow. Again, just from the outer edge, trying to keep it even. And let me know if you think that this is going to work or not. I don't know at this point, and I've never done this technique before, like this. So there we go. Beautiful. Now I'm going to pour all of this mica in. Well, we'll see. Straight into that centre. We might get more of a dragon scale effect here because it doesn't seem to be pulling in as much as I'd hoped. Now I've still got some more of this, so let's pour more of this, I think, around the edge. Just before we push it out. And hopefully that will help it spread a little bit. And then I've still got some of this pink, so I might as well use it, because if you don't use it, you'll just lose it. And that I'm going to do, again, just at the outskirts of where that mica is. And it's almost like a beautiful blue urchin, I think it looks like to me. And now hopefully the push is going to do all the work here. I don't know. So we're just going to go in and completely fill the mould from a bit of a height straight into the centre of that chameleon powder, pushing it all out, all the way to the top of the mould. And that is pretty much full now. And then it's just going to be a case of seeing what this resin wants to do. But before it closes up, and it is starting to close up, I can see that on the underside. I'm just going to add this centre mixture, just a decent dollop of it, into the centre. And I do want some of those rocks as well as the glitter. And I think that's reasonably central. I'm just going to push it down a little bit. It doesn't look perfectly circular. There we go. I'm happy with that. And now we're just going to let it do its thing. I might torch the edge just to get rid of any of those surface bubbles. And we're going to see if this crackles at all. Hoping it does. But there we go. Now I know I've got something to demold in the morning. Whether it works or not, I don't know, but it is looking absolutely stunning, that. Those different colours. So in about, technically in about 2.5 hours, that'll be cured, but I'll be fast asleep by that point. I'm hoping that they all pull in. I'm hoping it carries on pulling in further. but I won't know at this point until it's done. So I'll see you guys in the morning and we'll demold. Right, here we go, and it's the next morning. This should have cured now, and we're going to see what we've got. So yeah, let's hope we've got some kind of crackle. As I say, for me, it's the first time that I've used the fast cure resin to try and achieve a crackle. So it's come out of the mold okay, which is great. And if you just look, we've definitely got some sort of pattern. Now, what I did as well is after I'd switched the camera off, I did put 2 drops of alcohol ink in the center, just because I was worried it wouldn't close all the way. But you can just see there's almost a bit of a striation effect happening there. And oh, hello. Wowzers. So we got a real cool crackle in that chameleon blue. And then look at how wispy the 2 other colours, the pink and the orange, turned out. But you know what? I love that. I think it's different. I love the deep, as I say, crackle that we got. And I even like the way the pigment pastes turned out. So let me know what you think in comments, but just another crackle. And I'll see you on the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you've liked this video. And Diane, here you go. You can also do it with fast cure.